Hey everyone, we're going to be talking about Lost Box tonight. One of my favorite playing decks right now, in particular the Sablezard build that Pedro Torres used at EUIC, and I've also been watching Azul as he's been working through one as well, and I really liked it. So to get started, you have your 13 Pokemon here, most important of which is the Comfey. This guy right here, he's your bread and butter. He's what you want to get out there. First thing, 2 or 3 of these guys going with flower selecting, getting 3, sometimes 4 cards. If you got 4 out there, I think that's too many. I think you really just want 3 at max, because you're going to do 3 flower selectings, hopefully get a Colress's experiment, 3 flower selectings, another Colress's experiment, 10 in the Lost Zone. By turn 2, you can use Sableye. You're good. It's hard to come back from that. It just is. This guy right here, he's the one you want. You know, I've got Drapion in here. Look, Drapion's only in here for the Mew matches. And for Forest Sealstone. That's it. You got Sableye in here. Sableye is one of your main damage dealers. He's doing 1-to-1 with Lost Mine to anybody, anywhere. Even gets through Manaphy. Not a whole lot of ways you can stop Sableye unless you knock him out. You got Manaphy in here for bench protection. You got Hawlucha in here just for flying entry. That's it. There's a lot of 70 HP Pokemon out there that if you can just take 10 off of them, you can knock 2 of them out in 1 round. With Sableye, 2 prize cards. Comfey being one of them, by the way. In the mirror match, Hawlucha, 2 of the Comfeys that are on the bench. Use Sableye, boom, 2 prize cards. I like it. Cram is the classic in the Lost Box. It's just 4 in the Lost Zone. You can just start spitting. Again, hard to stop. And then Radiant Charizard is in here. Late game, you could even use Raihan to kind of power him up some to get him earlier with a 3 prize situation. But he's in there for power. You just hit with 250 for Combustion Blast, Escape Rope, put him right back in there, hit again. Easy peasy. Look at this energy count though. 6. I didn't think it would work. I thought this was too little energy when I first saw it coming out. And I was wrong. I mean, it works really well. What hurts you though is if you prize both of these fire energy, for instance, or if you prize one of these and you put one of these in the Lost Zone because you haven't checked prize cards yet, that's when it hurts. That's no bueno. No bueno. Trainer cards, I know there's 41 of these things, and it is a lot of search. But let's talk about trainer cards a little bit. To me, there's a ranking here. There's a, if these are in my hand, this is what I'm going to play first. Right? So for me, I like getting the guaranteed stuff first. So if I'm holding, let's say, if I have a Fog Crystal in my hand, what am I going to go for? If I'm already holding a Sableye, I'm going to go for a Psychic Energy. Right? But I'm going to use this card before I use Colress because I want to make sure I can thin my deck, get the card that I actually need without having to sacrifice it to the Lost Zone, and get this card out of my hand. Again, Heavy Ball. I would use Heavy Ball before I use Colress because then I can check my prize cards. I can see what's prized already. Make some changes if I wanted to. Level Ball. Level Ball's in here really for Hawlucha, to get Hawlucha into your hand versus having to automatically play him to the bench using Nest Ball. You got to get him in your hand so you can use the ability. Level Ball also lets you find Comfey, Sableye, everything except Drapion, Cramorant, and Radiant Charizard. So, but yeah, I would still play Nest Ball, Fog Crystal, Heavy Ball, Nest Ball, and maybe even Forest Sealstone before I play Colress. I know, But for me, being able to find the card that I actually need without having to make that sacrifice of to the lost zone and having to choose, because you very well could draw into 2 Colress's Experiment, a Fire Energy, and a Boss's Order, and a Sableye. How terrible. Because you got to choose. You got to choose now. You're going to put one of your Fire Energy in there in the Lost Zone. You're going to lose one of your Sableye. You've only got 2 Boss's Orders. There's no telling where the other one's at. You can't put a Colress in there. You need the Colresses to speed up your Lost Zone. So, to kind of help those choices, I'd like to use those cards first. Colress, if he's in my hand, he's usually a 3rd option after I've played the other item cards that help me search and find things. Pokegear, really important here to find Colress. There's been a few times where I've had to play where I've had to Nest Ball for Drapion, for a Sealstone, to even get to a Colress. I still wound up winning. I still think if you're going to use the Forest Sealstone, it's going to be to find a Colress or a Fire Energy. Maybe Radiant Charizard, but you should find Radiant Charizard with the Nest Ball. Echoing Horn was fun. I used that last match that I played against a Miraidon deck. They were playing a build that had Magnemite, and I knocked it out once. Then I put it back on the bench and I knocked it out again. It was a good time. The switch cards are super helpful. I have a hard time putting these in the Lost Zone, simply because I've come up short one switch card so many times. It's very annoying knowing that you had it, but you put it in the Lost Zone. You can't get it back. Switch card also has the healing ability that I've used before. Also comes in handy. Escape rope is cool. You can escape rope into boss and do stuff with that. Beach court is another one that has come in very handy, I feel like. Not only can you use it to bump another stadium, it lowers the retreat cost of your Pokemon. So like all these guys get free retreat except for Radiant Charizard and Drapion. Free retreat. That's nice. So the other thing about these energy, we play Clara. We play 2 Clara. So what you want to do to kind of counter the hand disruptions coming in from Judge, coming in from Roxanne, you want to go ahead and discard one of those Fire Energy, just in case. You discard it, you get it back with Clara, right? Even if I had to start, there was a game I had to start with Radiant Charizard, I let him get knocked out because then I knew where he was. He was in the discard pile. All I had to do was play Clara, get him, get the energy. We were good to go. I actually used him to win that game and knock out the Raikou. Worked really well. You also want to make sure you have at least one Sableye in your discard pile, because you're going to use Clara to recover Sableye, Radiant Charizard, and the energy that they go with. Another good setup is going to be if you can get Sableye to the bench with a Psychic Energy on him, and then you can Clara, Radiant Charizard, and then attach. That's pretty good too. Pretty strong. Or Raihan. If you can get Sableye on the bench, have Psychic Energy or Fire Energy in hand, use Raihan to grab an energy from the discard pile, attach. You can do double attachment there and have Sableye and Radiant Charizard ready to go. You can even, like I said, you can get Radiant Charizard going at 3 prize cards if you attach your Fire Energy, use Raihan, attach your Psychic Energy, get him in the active, hit with Combustion Blast for 250. But really, you're not going to use Combustion Blast that much. It's like a last play of the game kind of thing. A lot of times, you don't really want to be hitting with Radiant Charizard. You want to be hitting with Sableye because he sprinkles so much damage on the field. it's insane. It's broken sometimes, but it's been really fun to play. I would urge everyone to try this deck out. It's actually pretty smooth. Feels really good when you're playing it. Like, I feel like I get I've had some very bad draws, but other than that, I feel like it's been really consistent. It's got a lot of good stuff. Choice Belt, forgot to go over. Choice Belt is in here for Radiant Charizard or even Cramorant when you're going up against certain V Pokemon. Radiant Charizard with a Choice Belt up against Arceus V-Star, Giratina V-Star, Goodra V-Star, one hit KO. 280. You're swinging for 280. Which is super important against that Goodra matchup. That's the one matchup that gives me trouble. Because of that V-Star ability, you can build up damage on the Goodra V-Star, but then they can just wipe it all off. So the solution is just knock them out. Yeah, so that's Sablezard. Go ahead, play it, give it a shot. That's what I'm doing for the next couple weeks, just making this deck better, learning how to play it better in certain scenarios. I know there are cards coming up in the Paldea Evolved set. They're going to kind of hurt Lost Zone's playability. I still feel like it's going to be a strong deck, but we'll see. And that is how I feel about Lost Zone, Lost Box, Sablezard, the whole thing. I think it's a good time. I think you ought to try it. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm off base. Like and subscribe. It helps in a ton of ways. I really appreciate it. And thank you, and have a good night.